So I'm here with Joe Einstein with AEG, and you are an encoding services company that works, I assume, with a lot of sort of big content producers. And you were just on a panel. Was the panel about encoding?
The panel was about, yes, it was about simplifying the workflow, which involved encoding, rewrapping for multiple devices, and digital rights management.
Okay. Do you want to just sort of walk us through a quick use case of a client who has used your solutions and sort of that whole workflow?
Sure. A lot of our clients are entertainment companies with either a backstage show around a large live event. The Grammys is a perfect example. There's a broadcast show happening for 3 hours. Leading up to that event, we did 2 days worth of pre-event concerts, panel discussions, red carpet coverage, things like that. Then on the day of the show, we offered multiple camera feeds, so somebody could watch the red carpet feed, they could watch the backstage, they could watch the thank you camera, different aspects around the event. Never the broadcast because there's licensing issues there. But this is sort of complementary content, so you can consume it on a mobile device, you can consume it on a computer. For that, we provided, project management, tech management, crewing services, facilities, cameras, microphones, sort of your basic production, as well as encoding, delivery, and player deployment to their site. So it's sort of the end-to-end camera to player. We filled all those pieces in between.
And so you mentioned that so let's say they had, 10 cameras on site, ballpark? 10 cameras on site. Each camera stream was going via satellite back to your sort of headquarters.
Grammys is an interesting one. It's actually all within our campus at LA Live. So we're right across the street from Staples Center. It all came back on our private fiber network. Other events like Academy Awards or Coachella, those come back on more traditional satellite or fiber.
And then in your facility, they're all transcoded for sort of all different devices and then sent back out to the CDN partners.
Exactly.
So that the end consumer can watch.
Can consume that content.
Okay. So on the panel, what were some of the issues that were being talked about? And
I think at its core, the biggest issue is there's no universal delivery format. And we sort of as a group agree that we're at least a year or two away from there being a sort of universal format, whatever you want to call it. I brought up the fact that we're encoding 8 or 10 different encodes of each bit rates and frame sizes ranging from 150K up to 3.5 megabit with different frame sizes. And that is just letting us support our current devices, which are desktop, iOS, Android, and some connected devices. As we get more connected devices, we're going to see that increase. Somebody's going to want a 5 megabit version. Doesn't mean we can drop the 150.
Because they're watching on their 50-inch flat screen.
Right, they got a 50-inch, going to some, Panasonic or Samsung television. They're going to want the best experience to really, people are expecting that. So, there's no central delivery mechanism, but also means there's no central DRM to wrap all that in. So, I think we all sort of agreed it would be great if there was, we can push, here's our 10 meg stream, please transcode it in the cloud, apply the proper DRM based on our business policy and move on, but I think we're a ways away.
Now, on the panel were some big content companies. I think you mentioned ABC, and who else?
ABC and Turner.
So what are some of sort of the challenges they're grappling with right now?
It sounded like ABC's biggest challenge is they're generating, on the on-demand side, 25 versions of every asset. Robert said he's generating 100,000 clips a month. So, from our side, around every live event, we're generating on-demand content. We're typically generating one mezzanine file. Here's an 8 meg file. Here's a 10 meg file. That goes off to, if it's a YouTube or somebody's CMS, they transcode it and deal with that. So he's doing to do the work of all the renditions. We typically don't have to do that work, but he's sort of, his core business is around delivering all of those to Apple, Amazon, the list goes on.
So when you talked about the next 2 years, what sort of technical hurdles need to be worked through to sort of simplify all this?
I mean, I think everyone is hoping that there's this universal streaming format. We all agree that HLS is very close. If they had a good security mechanism, missing a good security mechanism and a desktop support. If those two things were there, I think HLS would really take off in the market. If you took Silverlight, Adobe, and Apple solutions and put them together and pulled the best feature sets, you would have the perfect solution. One of the things I brought up is our business has been very successful because we've taken 50 years of broadcast knowledge and put it into what we're doing in digital delivery. All the other platform companies, Adobe, Apple, Microsoft, need to look at that and say, okay, we need time code, we need ad insertion, because we're not going to change the way the broadcasters work. We've got to back into what the broadcasters are doing.
It's amazing, that concept of creating technology solutions that meet the needs of non-technology clients.
And I think what we've seen, as the amount of content increases, the clients become less technical, which means you now need to give them a much more technical solution because they're asking for it, but they don't necessarily know all the pieces that fit around to make it work. And a lot of our events right now do not involve security, and I think we're going to start to see more security requirements when we get into 24/7, over-the-top delivery, pay-per-view, things like that.
Great. All right. Well, Joe, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thank you.